And we are live for Sunday service, boys. I'm excited to be back. We didn't have a show last Sunday, but we did have a big moment in my life. So it was valid that we missed one. It's all right. We didn't have much to break down after last week because, to be honest, the card before that, the Tyra card and Royval, wasn't a whole lot going on. Now, there wasn't a whole lot going on last night with the UFC card, but we did have the PFL. We had Francis Ngannou's return. That was big. And now we got UFC 308 to look forward to. I believe it's probably the second best card of the year behind UFC 300. Some really solid matchups. I'm really looking forward to breaking that down and getting some bets in on there because I looked at it today. I put out my early picks video, and there's some spots I'm looking to attack. So excited for that. But let's talk about last night. First of all, there's no AC in this room. So if you see me sweating like a pig, you know why. I had to leave the watch party at the studio last night because the AC was out here and my family was dying. So I had to buy a bunch of fans. Not a good look. And we still do not have AC. We got to get that fixed. But I'm sweating in here. So I'm sweating this out with you guys. Truly sweating. And hopefully we make it through an hour without me just covered in sweat. Cameron Clark, what's going on, brother? Is Rakic a live underdog? I don't see why he wouldn't be. I don't see why he wouldn't be, man. I mean, I think Ankalaev, I don't think Ankalaev is like a world beater. I don't think he's the best striker. I think he's solid. I don't think his wrestling is amazing, but if he goes to it, I think he could probably win a decision. IG chat's popping off. We're talking about Sunday Night Football in the IG chat. You need the finest picks Saturday? Brother, walk life. I got you, bro. We're on a nice little heater, on a nice little run. Mr. Toad, hard to rate that performance from Ngannou when Sergey Spivak would do the same. Henan has zero grappling. Yeah, that's the thing, boys. Henan Pereira is a scary dude because he's 6'8", and he has a long wingspan, and he's very powerful. But there's a glaring hole in his game, and I commend Francis Ngannou for taking the path of least resistance because let's be honest, if he were to go out there and get starched by Henan Pereira, there'd be so many memes. There would be so many memes. So he had to go out there and get a win because if he didn't get a win, everything would have went wrong for him, even though he made a ton of money. He's already made a ton of money. It's not about the money. Last night, it was about getting a win and showing everyone that he's still got it in MMA. So he fought smart. That's what he should have done. He should have took him down from the jump. He had a few exchanges, couple leg kicks, and then he just took him down and beat him up. Henan Pereira is a terrible off his back, for one. If you look at any times that he's lost or any times that he's looked bad in a fight, he's on his back. When he's striking with guys, he looks good. So, yeah, it's hard to rate Ngannou's performance because the level of competition, not the best. Like, Ferreira's dangerous, but if you take him to the ground, he's not dangerous at all, and you're going to win that fight 9, if not 10 out of 10 times. So, Francis fought smart. You got to give him that, and he got to win at the end of the day. Crazy to me how many people were, like, dead set on Henan Pereira winning. Like, I thought about it. I'm like, Henan hits hard. He's big. He's longer. Ngannou coming off the knockout loss. But he's not even close to the level that Francis Ngannou was on. And he showed he's still kind of on because he has the wrestling to fall back on. He's a strong dude. And I said before the fight, if Ngannou takes him down to the ground and pound TKO is super live because Henan does not have a get-up game and he doesn't have much of a game to protect himself on the ground either. He threw up like that triangle. I was never going to go in. Francis probably literally laughed it off and then just bashed his face in. So good for him. Kenneth DC in the IG chat. Boring wrestlers need to take notes from Fluffy. Yeah, Fluffy's a freaking monster, bro. Fluffy, let me know in the chat. What do you think? If Fluffy was like that good, do you think Fluffy is that good, or do you think Michel Pereira is just that bad after the first like 30 seconds of the fight? Because honestly, I think it's kind of a combination of both. Pereira literally had like no cardio whatsoever. Couple exchanges. I think he hit him pretty hard in like the first 20, 30 seconds. And then after that, he was like, dude, why didn't he go down? Why didn't he just crumble like these other guys that have been facing? And then after that, it was all one way. One way action for Anthony Hernandez. Bunch of takedowns, bunch of ground and pound. I mean, he landed 152 significant strikes. That's insane. 97 ground strikes. Unbelievable. Pereira landed 24. Wow. Wow. Ankle Live for the win, says JR. What's going on, JR? Chef Pendy. What's going on, brother? Think he retired? I don't know who you're referring to. Any NFL bets tonight? Steelers money line, bro. Steelers money line. Adams over on yards. Wow. Slightly lean Pereira, purely striking, but anyone who watched tape knew how bad Hennon's grappling is. Yeah. Yeah, it came down to if Ngannou wanted to wrestle or not. He chose to. Michelle got a super low gas tank. Let's just take a look at this, boys. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's rough. I mean, he stuffed most of the takedowns from Fluffy early, but the fact that Fluffy shoots so many takedowns, you got to defend that, and that makes you tired. Pereira was dead after the first 2.5 minutes. You knew Fluffy was going to win? I had a feeling. That's why I picked Fluffy to win, but, Pereira is dangerous. We didn't really know. That was a fight where we didn't really know the outcome. That's why it was kind of exciting, because we knew that Pereira could possibly finish him in the first. But after that, then it was probably all going to be Fluffy. The Darren Elkins signed glove is worth buku bucks. Mad Dodger. If you got one, you got a Darren Elkins signed glove. If you do, how much you selling it for? Shout out to Darren Elkins, bro. Cashing as the underdog for me last night. Loved that. Solid night of bets. Real solid. Pereira too huge. He wanted to eat him. Gas out. Pereira did look huge. I don't know how that dude ever made 170. I know he didn't really meet it. Didn't really make it all that often, but holy shit, dude. He looked massive in there. And Fluffy's always kind of soft-bodied. Dodger, it's a Max Griffin, bro. It's a Max Griffin glove. You sent me Max Griffin. If you have an Elkins one, though, I'll take it. Max Griffin fighting in December, I think. Shout out to Max. Did you change your mind on Topuria yet, bro? Well, I still got Max for the win this Saturday. Yeah, vote in the poll on YouTube. How do you think, or who are you taking, Topuria and Holloway? If you're in the YouTube chat, vote on the poll. If you're not in the YouTube chat, come over to YouTube. There's a link in my bio. Vote on the poll. I want to see where you guys are at. Right now, it's 50-50. 50% think Topuria, 50% think Holloway. Boys. Topuria is winning. There's no doubt in my mind. Topuria is winning. Tell me a spot where Max Holloway is better. Only thing I can think of where Holloway is better than Topuria is maybe just pure volume. But he has that advantage over most guys. 53% Holloway now. Votes are coming in. Topuria and Hamzat super lock, bro. I don't know about the Hamzat fight. The thing is, with the Hamzat fight, I just hate it so much. I said this in my early picks video. I hate the Hamzat fight as far as like a betting standpoint or even just picking who to win, because we have no idea how Hamzat looks against a top 10 middleweight. He's never faced a top 15 middleweight. Never been done. He's never fought anybody inside the top 15 at middleweight. He's only got wins over welterweights. Now you could say, oh, Kamaru Usman. Usman's a welterweight, took the fight on short notice. And we haven't seen him in over a year. And it's not too late for this dude to pull out. Dude's always got so many issues. And it's not really like I'm crazy about the Whitaker side. I'm not crazy about the Whitaker side because stylistically, I think it's a tough matchup for Whitaker because Khamzat's very physical, very strong, and he's gonna bring the fight to Whitaker. Whitaker doesn't usually like that, so I don't like it from a betting standpoint. I don't like it from a who do I think is gonna win. Gun to my head, who I think is gonna win. I guess I gotta side with Khamzat just from the eye test, but that's backed up on nothing that he's done in his career, which I just hate. It's like a very low confidence pick. Why is Topuria a lock? He's younger, in his prime. He's the champion right now. He just knocked out Volkanovski. Volkanovski is the pinnacle of the featherweight division. He made it look easy. He's the better boxer, the better wrestler, the better grappler. Got more power. He's better everywhere, in my opinion. He's better everywhere. Even if Holloway lands more significant strikes throughout the course of 5 rounds, Topuria is going to land the more impactful ones. And more often than not, judges will probably score the ones that land harder. We've seen Max get hurt many times. He's never been knocked out. That's cool. Never been knocked out. But he's been hit a lot throughout his career. He's only, like 31, 32? He's like 45 in fight years. He's been through so many wars. And every boxer that he's actually faced, Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, even you could throw Volkanovski in there, he's lost. Now you're going to say, Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar sucks. Calvin Kattar is literally just a jab merchant. He's a Rob Font of 145. Okay? He's not a top-level guy. Appreciate that, JR. Congrats to you, too. You got Max all the way. We both from the same area. I got both guys too close. Good luck to you, brother. I can understand if you just like want Max to win. If you're just like, yeah, I want Max to win. Cool. I think stylistically, it's just not going to happen, bro. Holloway's better at range, and Ilya is weak to kicks because he fights too much like a boxer. I guess you got to throw the Jai Herbert head kick out there. Congratulations. He got caught with a head kick, came back the next round, and flatlined the guy. Cool. Got caught with a head kick. That's awesome. What happened the next round? Flat out on the canvas, snoozing. They had to take Jai Herbert to the ER. He was that gone. Max till the wheels fall off. Boys, I'm telling you this. I bet Max Holloway to beat Justin Gaethje. I knew Max Holloway was going to beat Justin Gaethje. It's not like I've never been a believer in Max Holloway. But I'm telling you this. This isn't the fight for Max, bro. This isn't the fight for him. Topuria is just too good. He's too good. Volk showed that he don't like kicks at all. I don't know how you could say that, honestly. I watched that Volk fight, and it is ingrained in my brain because it was a post-traumatic stressor, boys. You get PTSD just thinking about that. Okay? Every little kick, every little punch that Volk landed didn't affect Ilya whatsoever. He was waiting for his opportunity, and he capitalized. It's what he's going to do to Max. He's going to wait for his opportunity. He's going to capitalize. Whether he knocks him out or he knocks him down a couple times, he's going to win this fight. And nobody is really factoring in that Ilya Topuria, main base is wrestling. Wrestling and grappling. If he takes down Max Holloway, he could look real dominant in those positions. Okay, Max Holloway, not usually fighting a ton of grapplers. And usually when he's fighting grapplers, they're not good strikers. Topuria is the full package. You could do it anywhere. You got Whitaker. Good luck. He stopped him from starting a combo from kicking lead leg out. When has Max Holloway ever been a big leg kicker? Bobby going to hit him with the 3-piece combo. Yeah, definitely biased. 7-0 against germs. I don't know, man. Those germs are really, really getting to him lately. How do you know he's better when he hasn't shown that against high-level opponents? He just knocked out Volkanovski. He knocked out Volkanovski in like 9 minutes. Holloway spent 75 minutes in the cage with Volkanovski. Did he ever have him hurt? No. In fact, he didn't win a single fight. So that is just not it. Bums. Josh Emmett's a bum. Bryce Mitchell's a bum. Volkanovski's a bum. Get out of here, bro. Hoping Bobby gets the W, but I think Hamzat's winning this one. Yeah, I would like Bobby to get a W, honestly. Just so we could stop with this Hamzat jerk fest, dude. Still got Topuria, though. He's easily the best knockout artist Holloway hasn't faced. Yeah, since McGregor. If Holloway lost, it would hurt. It would hurt a lot of people, that is for sure, especially if he gets knocked out. Ilya's never dealt with outside leg kicks well, but he KOs his opponents before that matters. It's pretty true. Ilya is technical. Yeah. He's probably the most technical boxer the UFC has ever seen. It might be a hot take, but I think it's real. You saying this is the first time we're going to see Max get knocked out? Possibly, bro. Possibly. Just because somebody has never been knocked out doesn't mean they can't be knocked out. And if there's ever a time for somebody that hasn't been knocked out to get knocked out, it would be Topuria knocking out Holloway. Ebo is a fraud. Ebo Aslan, you talking about? He does go to the body real well. He rips the body insanely well. Did he get fraud checked last night, or is that expected? It wasn't like super expected, but we knew if the fight extended, Fluffy was going to take him to school. So it kind of went expected. You know, if Pereira didn't finish him in the first round, he was going to get schooled in the next 4 rounds, which happened. But yeah, I mean, he got checked for his gas tank, that's for sure. Yeah, kicking from the outside isn't really Holloway's game. And like how effective is that going to be over the course of 5 rounds to just try to stay out of range and kick legs, you know? Wouldn't Hamzat gas out within 5 rounds against Whitaker? That is the concern for sure for Hamzat. But it could not go 5 rounds. It could just go 1 round. That's the reality of it. How did Smotherman look? Missed that one? Yeah, I kind of missed that one too, but I guess he won. And I think Jake Hadley just looked terrible. He looked awful. So I guess Smotherman did pretty well. Mark Gonzalez is out. Thanks for joining, homie. Have a good one. Don't you think, though, Volk getting KO'd made Pryor made Volk a little gun shy against Ilya? Yeah, Jesus in the IG chat. I think so. But still knocking out Volk with a clean combination, not a head kick like Islam. Clean combination, all fists. Beautiful stuff. Thoughts on Shavkat versus the Decision Machine? I'm tending to lean the Decision Machine, honestly. I think Bilal could probably take him deeper into the fight, use his wrestling. As long as he doesn't give up back position like he did to Leon a couple times, I think he could win. I think he can get takedowns on Shavkat. I think he can push a pace on Shavkat. But Shavkat is very dangerous. It only takes one mistake from Bilal, and it is a pretty quick turnaround, so that's not always the best. But I am tending to lean the Decision Machine because he's, plus 225 underdog as the current champ. It's getting my attention. Hadley is a fraud, no doubt. Holloway could use the eye pokes. That is true. That is very true. He could use the eye pokes. It's actually a good game plan, Nick. I'm not even joking about it. If I was Max Holloway, I'd be jabbing the shit out of Ilia Toporia's eyes. Get him pissed off. Get him fighting emotional. Get him out of his game, out of his rhythm. Maybe blind him in an eye, you know? It's actually a pretty good game plan there, Nick. You might want to DM Holloway that. Be like, yo, poke this dude in the eye a couple times. We know Herb Dean ain't going to do shit about it because it's a title fight. He don't want to get involved. Just keep poking him in the eye. See what happens. The shot Ilya hit Volk with would KO any featherweight ever. Wasn't a chin problem. Yeah, I kind of agree. What do you think about Pantoja Asakura betting-wise? I haven't watched a lot of film on Asakura. I don't really think he's all that, to be honest. But Pantoja is getting up there in age. And I'm sure the UFC would love for Asakura to come in and take the belt from Pantoja. So, got to factor that in. But right now, I think Pantoja is the better fighter. But we'll see. I got to look at Asakura a little bit more. No way Bilal beats Shavkat. That's what a lot of people said about Leon Edwards. No way Bilal's going to beat Leon Edwards. Kamaru Usman couldn't take down Leon. Colby Covington couldn't take down Leon. Or at least they couldn't do it repeatedly. There's no way Bilal's going to go in there and take him down 10 times. Well, he did it. And he made it look easy. Okay? I did survive the hurricane. It didn't really hit us, but appreciate that. I don't know what the hell this says, but sweet. Thoughts on Shara and Lerone Murphy fights? Shara fight is it's a little, I think it's a 50-50. I think the Shara fight is a 50-50 because Petrosyan's a really good kickboxer. But I do kind of think if the fight goes to decision, there's no way they're going to let Shara Magomedov lose in Abu Dhabi. They want to keep his perfect record. They're giving him another pure striker. They're trying to set him up for a win. But I do still think it's 50-50. I think it'll be close. Lerone Murphy versus Dan Ige. I think Lerone Murphy probably wins the decision. I think he's got good enough volume, good enough striking defense, and he can mix in takedowns. Dan Ige, great boxing. Love him. Love watching him fight. But I think Murphy probably edges the decision, honestly. Mixes in some takedowns, wins 2 out of 3 rounds, and gets a W. All right, last night. Let's talk about last night, boys. Hernandez, Pereira. We already talked about that a little bit. Hernandez looked solid. I don't know that you can give him a jump up like an Israel Adesanya, but I think you could give him like a Brendan Allen type of guy. I think Hernandez beat Brendan Allen before. It would be a rematch. I can't remember who won, but it would be a rematch. Solid step up there for Hernandez. Rob Font, Kyler Phillips. Who in the chat had a bet on Kyler Phillips? I did not. But I know a lot of people did, and I'm sure you were pissed. Sure you were pissed off that Kyler Phillips ruined your parlays. And let's be honest, Kyler Phillips should not be losing that fight. Should not be losing that fight. You shouldn't be losing to Rob Font in 2024. If you're losing to Rob Font in 2024, you ain't ever going to be shit. Ain't ever going to be shit. You get takedowns at will on this guy. He got 4. Cash my underdog slip. Thank you, Kyler Phillips, for that. 20x payout. Hopefully you guys tailed that. But, you know, Kyler looked awful on the feet. Awful. Absolutely terrible. Like, he was getting pieced up by Rob Font. I know Rob Font's a solid boxer, but, bro, shouldn't be getting pieced up by Rob Font in 2024. Charles Johnson, Sumaderchi. Close one from Charles Johnson, but pulled off the dub. Sumaderchi's a good striker, though. I kind of expected that. I kind of expected Sumaderchi to give him a solid fight on the feet if Charles didn't grapple. Nearly had him KO'd in round 2, though. You had Phillips in the parlays. That's a rip, bro. Saw Kyler was minus 675 right before the fight and put a little on Ram Font. Smart. People did actually bet on Phillips. People did think it was a lock, but not me. I stayed away from that one from a money line perspective because Phillips never really has done it for me. I didn't really ever think he was all that, and for him to be that big of a favorite over Rob Font, nah, I'm not about it. So, greetings from Brazil Shoot the Box Academy. What's going on, Giovanni? The Charles DuBronx shoot the box, or a different one, Diego Lima? Let me know. I just got a new Charles Oliveira t-shirt for his fight in November. Very excited about that. Does Chimaev have better cardio than Pereira? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Probably. We could hope so. He should. It's not really saying too much. Which platform would you say the majority of your monthly revenue comes in from? Like YouTube, Instagram. What are you referring to? Or like sports books? You got to expand on that. I'm always wonder how Johnny Bones Jones versus Francis Ngannou would go. You and I, brother. You and I. It's the fight everybody that we needed to see that, bro. It's the fight everybody needed to see. They could have made it for the longest time. John Jones was out for 3 freaking years, boys. 3 freaking years. They could have made Ngannou versus Jones anytime in those 3 years. But all of a sudden, once Francis Ngannou is removed from the UFC, or he leaves the UFC, then all of a sudden John Jones is ready to fight. Then he's ready to fight, and they give him Cyril Gane. Something about that tells me somebody didn't want the fight. And I don't know if it was I don't think it was Francis Ngannou. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. Here's the thing, too. Did anybody else see John Jones's tweet after the Francis fight? I saw that, and I'm just like, bro, of course, now you're like giving him props. Now you're like kissing his ass because he's in a different promotion. There's no chance you're ever going to fight. Come on, bro. Come on. I would have liked to see him talk shit or something. I don't know. Actually, that probably would have pissed me off even more. I guess giving him props was probably the right move. Dead silence would have been the best move, honestly. Dead silence. How did people see the odds of Phillips? I'm not thinking sus. Agreed. Looks like Faraz Zahabi provided Font with perfect game plan, and his IQ looks improved. Yeah, I mean, that's probably true. He did have a pretty solid game plan. At least he didn't lay on his back for the whole fight. And Ngannou finishes him round 1 horrible. Talking about Jones. What's up, Larry? Yeah, those are 3 big favorites that lost. Big L's. Big L's across the board. You would def take Ngannou? Honestly, I think Ngannou could beat Jones. Just because we've seen Ngannou go 5 rounds. We know he has wrestling. He's got nuclear power. I don't think Jones, like, what does Jones do? Stand and strike with him? Good luck. Try to take him down? I guess he could maybe. I don't know. You're betting Lerone, Ankalaev, and Topuria. It's not bad, but honestly, Ankalaev price tag right now, don't really like it. Which social media platform? Instagram. Instagram for sure. I don't make a ton of money on YouTube. I do it for the enjoyment of the live streams. I do it for providing information and hopefully helping people out. I've actually never made a dime from YouTube because, number one, I don't have my payouts set up. But even if I did have my payouts set up, it would maybe be like $100 a month for 40 hours of work, 10 hours a week. So return on investment's not really there, but I like doing it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Pereira versus Piper next. That would actually be decent. Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira next. You know what, Sigma? You and I think alike. Because I actually had the same matchup. Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. Not even shitting you. Am I going to start taking more decisions? I mean, I've been playing a lot of overs, honestly. I've been playing a lot of overs. A couple decision bets. The craziest thing, if you parlayed every single over on every fight last night, you would have swept. That parlay would have been crazy. Crazy. Every single fight went over. Whether it was the 1.5 in the Lane to Spain fight or the 2.5 in the rest of the fights, every single over would have hit. You get some plus money in there too on a couple. So I wish I would have threw that in. Honestly, I wish I would have threw an all overs parlay in because it would have cashed, and we'd be sitting here with a fat bag. Hamzat beating Robert 100% as long as his chin holds up. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that chin holds up. What's the bet I should lay on the presidential election? I don't know, boys. I don't know. I bet on the election a couple times, but usually only try to look at like underdogs that I think could win. And I'm not really too keen on the underdog for the presidential election this year. So it's up to you. Do you personally know Bilal Muhammad? I do not. I do not. I've met him once or twice in person, but not really like an extended conversation. Hamzat, Def going stand round 1, then wrestle 2 and 3. I don't know. I think he might just shoot from the jump. Kevin Holland his ass. How much money have I lost in betting all since you started the addiction? I don't know. I don't know. Not enough, I guess. Not enough. Not enough for me to stop. That's for sure. The question is, Ngannou never fought a submission threat. Kind of. I guess maybe Jones could get his back. Does Instagram have their own creator rewards program, kind of like TikTok? Yeah, they do. Sometimes they do. I don't know if they have one right now. They did for a while. I might have maxed it out. Maybe that's why I'm not getting them right now. But they did pay pretty well for a while. But like nothing crazy. Like $1,000 a month, something like that. Best app to start with, Better or Underdog PB? You download them both. If you're in the eligible states, you download them both. Hail my plays. We make money, boys. We make money on those apps. So download them both. If you're going to start with like $100, just put 50 in each. Ngannou has so many holes in his game. Jones would use spinning elbows, oblique kicks, teep kicks, fake the right hand to draw a reaction out of Ngannou and takedowns. Okay. I'm sure Ngannou is going to be real scared about those teep and oblique kicks. He does have some really shitty knees, though, so maybe those oblique kicks would get to him. Had 15 parlay. 5 was not good because Robelis to spent. Damn. Still went positive. Never again. Heavyweight Conehead. Yeah, he sucks. Is Renat fighting this week? He is. He's fighting Carlos Leal. PFL, ex-PFL guy. He's not a complete bum, but Renat should probably win. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, brother. You're going to Abu Dhabi tonight? That'd be sick, boys. I've always wanted to go to an Abu Dhabi card, but the timing's got to be right. The card's got to be right. I would have loved to go to this one, but personal stuff. Can't really swing it right now. If you're in deep on gambling, you should have all apps. Yes, exactly. True hustler knows. You should have all the apps, bro. You should never be what is the word? You should never be loyal to one app. You should have as many apps as possible, get the best lines, and spread your money around as well. Because also, if you just use one app and you start winning a lot, you might get limited. So you got to have a ton of apps, ton of websites, whatever you use, just to try to beat the market. Chimaev's cardio seems suspect. Why did you pick him over Whitaker? It's not a confident pick at all. It's just from the eye test. I don't think Chimaev cardio is going to be good by any means, but I also don't think Whitaker handles physical pressure guys very well. So, but then we also don't know how Chimaev does against real middleweights in the top 15. It's a fight that I probably won't have a bet on, and definitely not a bet on either side money line. But yeah, it's just it's a stay away from me. Yeah, I said he's not fighting that guy because they had him against Nursultan Ruzaboyev, but they rebooked him with Carlos Leal. Appreciate that, brother. Do I think Dan Ige wins? I don't really think he wins, but I don't think it'd be out of the realm of possibilities that he wins. He just needs to shore up his takedown defense and maybe throw a little bit more volume. The only bad part about Abu Dhabi card is you can't drink over there at all. Oh my God, yeah, that's true. That is true. That's tough. That's tough. 46 votes on the poll. We got 47 now. We got 62% saying Topuria, 38% saying Holloway. I guess my spiel might have swayed some people, or they're just coming in late and we're getting some Topuria love. Baby girl's doing well. Thank you for asking. I was thinking the same thing. Hamzat got rocked a couple times against Burns. Yeah. Yeah. Very early, but DDP or Strickland in the rematch. I'd probably say DDP. DDP. Because what is Strickland going to do differently? You know? What is Strickland going to do differently? He fights the same way every time. DDP can mix things up. So I think DDP would make better adjustments. He already won the first fight. I think he'd make better adjustments going into the second fight to make it look easier. Do you think Dustin is the best fighter to never win an undisputed belt? Probably. I mean, who else would it be? I can't really think of anybody else off the top of my head. So I think it's probably got to be Dustin. I mean, Dustin literally had to fight Islam, Charles Oliveira, and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Those are probably the three best lightweights of all time. It's tough to get your hands on a belt when those guys are holding the belt. You know, like Poirier's up there, but he just had to face three of the best of all time to get the belt, and he just couldn't beat him. Can't really knock him for that. And he had some competitive fights. The Islam fight was competitive, and considering his age, yeah, he's up there. Tarzan will only hit the left jab button. I wish Strickland still went by Tarzan. That would just be fucking hilarious, bro. Going by Tarzan as like what he is now, it's just funny. Aspinall or Jones, Barnacle, if you're new here, bro, thank you for joining. But if you're not new here, you know where I stand. It's Aspinall all day. It's Aspinall round 1 KO. Easy money. Bobby Knuckles going to win. Here's the thing, boys. Every time there's one of these undefeated prospects and they're going up against a fan favorite, a guy that's been around for a long time, a guy that's been in the top 5 for a long time. Maybe he's not holding the belt right now. Everybody thinks the veteran is going to come through and win. Well, he's an underdog. He's an underdog for a reason. I'm not saying Chimaev is some lock, and I'm not even confident that he wins. But just to go out there and say Robert Whitaker beats Chimaev like you've already seen it, it's insane to me. It's insane. Khamzat Chimaev, people were saying he was sick before. He has an autoimmune disorder that might play a big role in 3, 4, 5. Should be intriguing. Yeah, I think the fact that it is a 5-rounder is a big deal. And I almost think like Chimaev needs to get him out of there in the first 2. Because if he tries to like hold himself back for like 5 rounds, it might just hurt him. Because he's got to get the first couple rounds. You know he's not going to have the cardio to be what he was in rounds 3, 4, and 5. It's just not the case. So I think he probably needs to go for a first round finish or a second round finish. Khamzat is sickly, that's facts. The dude is just unbelievably weak in the body when it comes to facing sickness. It's just ridiculous. Bahalio Adesanya, UFC 312. Is 312 Sydney, Australia? Is that what it is? I think they just announced that. That would be sick. I would like to see it. What would I say is Max's path to victory? It would probably be knocking out Ilia Topuria, which I don't think is going to happen. But I also think just stylistically, he would have to have the most elite footwork we have ever seen with the ability to throw punches and kicks at range and land significantly and stuff takedowns. I just think it's a lot to ask from Max, bro. It's a lot to ask. So that's why I think Topuria wins. But his path to victory, to me, would be elite footwork, elite defense, jab and run. Jab and run, maybe some front kicks up the middle, but then he risks getting taken down. You know, it's a really tough matchup, I think, for Max. Who do you think wins? Bilal the decision or Shavkat? Not gonna lie, if Bilal wins, I might stop watching MMA. We already talked about this. TN17. Thanks for joining and thanks for asking anyway. But I'm kind of leaning the Bilal side, so maybe you might have to stop watching MMA. But people still think Bilal's a bad fighter for some reason. People think Shavkat is some guy that can't be beat. His best wins are Stephen Thompson and Jeff Neal. You know, like it's not that hard to beat Stephen Thompson and Jeff Neal. I mean, Joaquin Buckley just knocked out Stephen Thompson. Is Joaquin Buckley going to beat Bilal Muhammad? Yeah. Ian Gary just beat Jeff Neal. Is Ian Gary going to walk through Bilal Muhammad? I don't know, man. Like, I don't really think Shavkat is unbeatable by any means. And I think Bilal has great game plans. I think he has great wrestling. He's got great pace, good volume. I don't see a way where Khamzat just runs away with it unless he just finds a big shot or finds a submission. Heart says Holloway. Brain says Topuria. Sad truth. Yeah, that's facts, bro. Volk did good by just jabbing and kicking at range. Then he didn't. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, Topuria or Volk had the right game plan, right? Jab, kick, stay at range, get him frustrated. But eventually, the guy that's walking you down is going to find you because it's 25 minutes. For you to have elite footwork for 25 minutes is insanely hard to do. It's insanely hard to do for 15 minutes. It's hard to do for 7.5 minutes. So eventually, Topuria is going to close the range. He's going to get inside. He's going to unleash those combinations to the body, to the head. Max is going to sleep. Sucks to say, but it is. That guy coming from Japan, getting the title shot at 125. What do you think, boss? I think the guy's a little overrated, to be honest. Opinions on Cameron Simon. He's solid. He's solid, but he's a poor man's DDP. But he's still very young, so it's not like you can just write him off. I think he'll still be improving, still coming into his frame, get some more muscle on him. I think he's solid, but the way that Peyton Talbot did him proved where he's at right now. Who's your top 5 most entertaining fighters of all time? Charles Oliveira, number 1. I would say Tom Aspinall, bro. He finishes everybody in the first round. Charles, Tom. I love watching me some Poirier. Gotta throw Poirier in there. Topuria. And Sean O'Malley. Probably the most casual of top 5. But I like to go recently because it's fresh in the mind. I mean, if it depends on like matchups, if Sean's fighting Merab, it's obviously not going to be that exciting. But if Sean's fighting fucking Aljamain Sterling or even Cheeto Vera, dude's just insanely good on the feet. How confident are you Max goes to sleep with the new gloves? That is the main factor, boys. It's the main factor. The new gloves are a curse. Boys, we had 11 fights last night. 1 knockout in 11 fights. And it wasn't even a knockout. It was a ground and pound TKO because the guy on the bottom was gassed out. It wasn't even like a punch. Like he got sat down with a punch and followed up with some shots and TKO'd him. These new gloves are a real problem. They are making an impact. As much as people want to say the causation doesn't equal correlation or correlation doesn't equal causation. As much as people want to say the sample size is too small. Boys, it's making an impact. Decisions are at like 61%. 6 out of 10 fights, over 6 out of 10 fights are going to a decision. Knockouts are down over 10%. And it's actually way more than that because if you think the average is like 33% and we're at like 21%, that means it's down, what would that be, 33%? Over 33%, but it's 12% less than the year prior. So it's game changing, boys. It's game changing. There's a reason every fight last night went over the round line that they had it at. Do you think scoring will ever change? I don't even know what it is right now. It's very tough to judge what's getting, or to know what's getting judged. Who did you think win between Energy and Sumaderchi? I thought Charles won the first 2. Toss up at the end of the day. I see a damage-based decision for Ilya or a sub. Otherwise, Max dances around and wins it. Izzy type decision. Yeah, I don't see Topuria letting him do that. I don't see him letting him just dance around the cage and win an Izzy type decision. Because you got to think about it. Izzy was the champion at the time. There's a lot of guys like Cannonier, like a Vittori, even a Whitaker. They just don't have, number one, the knockout power to put out a guy like Adesanya, nor the forward pressure, nor the grappling. I don't see how Max would do that. New gloves, Dookie. Shit, I agree. New gloves are terrible, bros. New gloves are terrible. Do I think the UFC cuts Robellis? They should, bro. They should cut him. The dude can't stuff a takedown from a mile away. And he can't even get up. He can't get up. Like, it's one thing to get taken down, but the guy lays on his back for like 2 or 3 minutes at a time. He has no get-up game. Striking isn't even that fucking good. And now with the new gloves, he's screwed. He's 0-2 with the new gloves. You get that dude in some new gloves, he ain't knocking anybody out. And he can't stuff a takedown. So they should cut him. He's not really, at this point, the only reason he was in the UFC because he was putting on fun fights. Because you go out there and get some early knockouts. But the cat's out the bag. If you're a heavyweight, just shoot a double leg, take him down to the ground, And then at that point, we got 15 minutes of heavyweight wrestling, and nobody wants to watch that. So cut the guy, let him go to karate combat because he can't stuff a takedown. Let him actually do something where he can find some success striking. What do you think changed with the new gloves? Did the old ones have cement in them or something? They're thinner. They're thinner and they're lighter. So if you look at the old gloves, maybe I could pull up a picture. If you look at the old gloves, there's a lot more surface area, or I don't know if I say surface area, but they like come out a little bit more. So like the old gloves, your knuckles is like this, they come out a little bit more. The new ones are very flat. Here, I'll pull this up. Share screen. Make this big. Boom. If you look at these, you see how much thicker these are? These are the old gloves. Thicker. Right there. There's not a pad right there where there's a pad right there. All the padding is on the knuckles and part of the fingers. So when you're punching somebody, you hit with the knuckles. This is a lot more flat. So when they actually make a fist, the knuckles probably only going to be about like that far off. Whereas opposed to the old gloves, it's going to be like that far off. Makes a big difference, especially when they're 4-ounce gloves. It's very compact. And they say they're lighter, but I mean, they're still 4-ounce gloves. So it's just distributed differently. Bigger surface area here with the pad right there. It's all compact right here on the knuckles. That's kind of what I'm seeing, boys. That's what I'm seeing. The numbers don't lie. It is a real thing. It is a real thing. You think you'd take a guy like Yair or O'Malley to outstrike Topuria, but even then they just get out grappled. Yeah, exactly. Yair can't stuff a takedown. Sean O'Malley can't stuff a takedown. They would get wrestle fucked. Do you think Peyton Talbot becomes champ? Possibly, but he's got a long way to go. He's got what it takes, but he hasn't beaten anybody amazing. The Simon win looks awesome, and I love his style. I love the guy. Very exciting, but could be a future champ for sure. He'll definitely crack into the top 10 probably within the next year and a half, 2 years. Mighty Mouse on his YouTube explains about detail about new gloves and show Pride gloves 5 times better or old UFC gloves better. Yeah, everybody like glazes the old Pride gloves, which is cool. I don't know why the UFC decided to change their gloves. I guess they changed gloves because of the eye pokes, but we still get eye pokes. Didn't really change much. Let's go to Dubai. You're more than welcome to come stay at my spot. I would love to go to Dubai sometime, brother. Who has better boxing, Ilya or Dustin? I think they're very different. Very different approaches. They're also different stances. Dustin's a southpaw. Ilya's an orthodox. I think Ilya. I'd probably say Ilya, honestly, but I think Dustin's flow is a little bit better, but Ilya's like setups and his actual combinations look more precise to me. I think Dustin's flow, like when he gets into the pocket, he rips everything really nicely. But Ilya seems like it's a little bit more set up. It's like a little bit more planned out. So I don't know. Both very good. It could be 1A, 1B. What's your take on fighters being in a cult? I don't have a take on it, to be honest. Volk or Poirier in a 5-rounder? Poirier, bro. UFC only care about results. Watch them go back to the old gloves if KOs don't increase. I don't think he will. I don't think he will because rarely do they ever like go back on something that they just changed. Even Dustin's picking Ilya. I didn't even see that. That's actually pretty shocking if Dustin picked Ilya. 53 votes in the poll right now. 62% say Topuria, 38% say Holloway. So it looks like we're decided on Topuria. I like that. I like that. We barely even went over the UFC card. We talked about Hadley. Darren Elkins getting the dub. Almabayev Nicolau was an awful fight. Matsumoto Katona probably should have been the fight of the night, to be honest. That was a good fight. Vidal, Edwards, disgusting. Reed, Penes, disgusting. Martinez, Ardeline, disgusting. Austin Lane, Despain, absolutely atrocious. PFL card, Ngannou, great. Pacheco losing. Me, my freaking parlay. That sucked. She didn't look very good, to be honest. Johnny Evelyn picked up another win, still undefeated. That's awesome. But he had already beaten Fabian Edwards, and honestly, he looked worse this time around than when he first fought Fabian. But rematches are tough. That fucking, I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but on the PFL main card, there was a minus 2,000 favorite that lost. Minus 2,000 favorite in the PFL lost. That's despicable. Despicable to be a minus 2,000 favorite and lose. Now, I didn't have a bet on it, so don't call me like salty. But like, holy shit, dude. He got like 30-27 too. It was disgusting. And Paul Hughes, shout out to Paul Hughes, my brother from another mother, getting it done against AJ McKee. I said it all week, boys. AJ McKee, overrated as fuck. Okay? Dude's fighting to close decisions. If anybody watched AJ McKee versus Sidney Outlaw in Bellator, AJ McKee was on his back for about 10 to 12 minutes of that fight. And somehow the judges still gave it to him. He lost that fight. He lost to Sidney Outlaw. Paul Hughes put it on him. Paul Hughes, 30-27, Paul Hughes. That's how bad it was. And still, somehow, they tried to rob him. It was a split decision. Should not have been a split decision. Should have been 30-27, Paul Hughes. Easy money on Paul. Paul Hughes versus Usman. Who you got? Wrong weight class, brother. But Usman. Do I have any bets on UFC 308 main event? I have no bets on the card at all right now. Do you think that Islam will move up to middleweight since Bilal is the welterweight champ? No way, bro. There's no chance Islam moves to middleweight. Absolutely not. There's a reason is at 155. Okay, he wants to be a weight bully. There's no way in hell he would move up 2 weight classes and be at a disadvantage, a size disadvantage against the middleweights. Oh, I picked him on Fight Nation. I gotta go look at that. JB, what's going on, brother? That Hernandez round 5 KO. I was gonna sprinkle Hernandez round 3, 4, 5 before the fight, but then I got distracted and I forgot the fight had started. And at that point, it was too late. If Volk loses to Diego, it's got to be Volk versus Emmett. Bro. I don't want to see Josh Emmett throw that nuclear bomb on Alexander Volkanovski. Please don't. Yeah, minus 2,000 he lost, bro. Oh, Usman Nurmagomedov. I would take Usman. I would take Usman. I don't think anybody beats Usman Nurmagomedov in PFL or Bellator. Have I slid into Nina Drama's DMs yet? We have DM'd before, but We don't like talk on the regular. That is for sure. Do you think UFC will make any new weight class in the future or soon? I did think I heard Dana White is talking about making a atom weight division for the women, which is just amazing. Because what do we need? We need some more women's fights in the UFC, especially at a weight class where there's like no finishes at 105. Does Lopez have a chance to beat Taporia? No, I don't think so. If he did, he would have to. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't think he has a chance. Diego's got power. Diego's got nasty submissions, and he could catch him in something. But as the fight would go on, Taporia would let him know who's boss. That's for sure. What's your reaction to Umar versus Song? I don't really believe it. I don't believe it in the slightest, and I'm pretty sure Uriah Faber said that Song Yadong wasn't even offered the fight. So I don't know how legit it is. It doesn't really make sense. Umar was in line for the next title shot against Merab. It wouldn't make sense for him to fight Song Yadong. And even if he did fight Song Yadong, that should just tell you where Umar thinks he is, where he could just take another fight. Like he's not even scared about Song Yadong, losing to Song Yadong, losing his title shot. He don't give a fuck. So that's my reaction. I just don't really think it's yeah, it could be on the UFC website. There's a lot of stuff that goes on the UFC website that doesn't actually come to fruition, bros. Like, just because a fight is announced doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. If you remember when Paulo Costa was supposed to fight Ikram Aliskerov, Paulo Costa had never signed. He had never even intended to sign. And it was like a month away from the fight. And he's like, yeah, this is not happening. I don't even think it was a month. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks. So just because it's on the website doesn't really mean anything. At the end of the day, both fighters got to sign on the dotted line. And it could just end up being a little tactic. Do I think Francis beats Jones? Possibly, but it doesn't really matter. We're never going to see it. If the fight was actually booked, then I could actually think about it more, but it's not even ever going to happen. I think Francis could probably beat him, but John could also just kick him in the knee, blow out his knee again. Who knows? All right, boys, we're over an hour. I got to go sweat this Steelers money line. Appreciate y'all for watching. Big week. UFC 308. I can't wait. I got my Ilya Taporia shirt coming in the mail. We're going to be locked and loaded. Probably going to put some bets in pretty soon here. So make sure you're in the Home of Fight Picks premium membership on Winnable. We've been crushing it there. And hopefully we continue to crush it. Appreciate you for joining, spending the Sunday night with me. Till next time. Hey, Job Picks.